If you got hurt when you were a kid, the advice you got from your parents or even your family doctor was likely the acronym RICE. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation has been the recommendation for decades, even though the man who came up with that saying has since retracted his statement, saying it's no longer correct. Here's the story. In 1978, this man, Gabe Mirkin, published this book, the sports medicine book, where he coined the term RICE. Decades afterwards, this was the popular advice and generally accepted as correct until in 2013 when ICED, the illusionary treatment option, was released. This book gathered together all the best evidence currently available on RICE and showed that ice and rest actually may slow down the healing process. That's because both ice and rest can reduce the amount of blood flow getting to the area, which can slow down how fast your body can heal. The evidence was so strong that Gabe Mirkin himself 2 years later went to his website to say that RICE was officially outdated and no longer correct. RICE has since been replaced with Peace and Love, which you can pause to read to get all the terms, but I'm going to break it down for you very simply. Peace and love is admittedly much more convoluted and complicated, but it really comes down to two main differences. First, instead of rest, you want to focus on protection, which is basically just only avoiding things that increase your pain. The second main change is to focus on things like optimism, education, and exercise, things that have actually been shown to increase how quickly you can heal from an injury.